Good evening. Welcome to Spirit and Truth Sanctuary, where the whole household of God is both welcomed and wanted. We are a group of inclusive truth seekers who are not afraid to recognize God outside of any boundary of religion and know that truth is not limited to any one specific holy book. And we know that on this journey, there's going to be awakenings as we go, as we grow together. And we are in one of those seasons right now. And so happy Wednesday to everybody. We're glad that you're here. We are continuing our series in The Power of Now, written by Eckhart Tolle over 10 years ago, but still something that is very, very relevant to where we are today in society. And we're seeing that reflected all around us. One thing that we'd like to encourage you to do is if you have some comments or a question or something that would add to our discussion tonight, please post those. As we know, if you're a regular on Wednesday nights, the comments are what we stay for. The teaching is just kind of the jumping off point, and then as we begin to express our opinions and our ideas, our revelations, and our personal aha moments, that's when the healing really begins to happen. And so we encourage you to comment tonight if you'd like to. Also, you can download tonight's notes in your event description, and so follow along with us and make notes, highlight, whatever you'd like to do. That's what I do with mine. I remember growing up as a kid, I didn't want to write or highlight in my Bible because I thought it was too holy to do that. Then by the time I was 20 years old, there was not one page in my Bible that wasn't highlighted and written in. And so make it your own tonight. Also, I have a very exciting announcement to give to everybody. And that is both this Sunday and next Wednesday, we will be joined by none other than the Bishop Dr. Reverend Carlton Demetrius Pearson. Bishop CDP Carlton Pearson, Carly Moses Pearson will be with us this Sunday at Spirit and Truth Sanctuary. And as we broadcast virtually, you'll get a chance to hear Bishop Pearson both teach and preach. As you know, every time is a cosmic journey into a deeper sense of Christ consciousness. And also, Wednesday night, a little bit more intimate setting where he's going to jump into the power of now with us and kind of give his take on what Tolle is saying about the observer and the watcher and detaching from all that, being able to see yourself outside of your thoughts. And so I'm excited for that, for this Sunday and also for next Wednesday. At the end of his teaching, we're going to take the comments and take your questions and continue the discussion. And so let your friends know now that both this Sunday and next Wednesday, our special guest, who is family to us at Spirit and Truth, will be Bishop Carlton Pearson. All right, before we go any further, take a big deep breath. Let that go. One more big deep breath. Let it go. As we take and give that breath, we are agreeing to the natural order of this universe, the give and take, to seed time and harvest, to sowing and reaping, to action and reaction. As we take and give that breath, we are agreeing that as within, so without, that all things are interconnected. We also agree to the beginner's mind tonight. We have not come with answers. We've come with curiosity and questions tonight. We've come as inquisitive children, as Jesus said, ready to enter into the kingdom of heaven. God, we thank you tonight that faith comes by hearing and not by having heard, that there is a fresh manna every day for us, a mystery, a whatness, or what is it, that guides us into the promised land. We celebrate tonight that truth is a journey and not a destination. So in the name, nature, nurture, power, principle, presence, and person of the Christ man, mind, and mystery, we say, let there be light, let there be awakening in Jesus' name. And so it is. We're glad you're here tonight. I'll encourage you to join in with us tonight in our invitation of truth. This is what we call at Spirit and Truth, our prayer of surrender. It really is our liturgy. This is our liturgy every week. This is how we get our minds, our souls, our spirits prepared. We empty our cup and we allow Spirit to take us and do with us whatever it, her, she, it, him will do. We are yielded and ready tonight. Come on, let's read this out loud together. Spirit of truth, carry me where you will. Bring to me what you will. Take from me what you will. Awaken in me what you will. The Christ man is around me. The Christ mind is in me. The Christ power flows through me. And the Christ mystery exists as me. I believe it, I perceive it, and now I receive it. I am surrendered. Amen. And so it is. Amen. Beautiful. We're glad that you're here tonight. Tonight's going to be a continuation in talking about the pain body. The last couple of weeks we've talked about how our thoughts have an effect on us at the cellular level, and over time how those thoughts of pain become almost like a stranger that becomes a welcomed friend, and we become used to that pain. That pain affects our posture, our countenance, it affects our health. And so we're going to continue in that journey tonight talking about the pain body. Our subject tonight is create no more pain in the present. All right, let's jump into this together tonight. Unconsciousness creates it. Consciousness transmutes it into itself. St. Paul expressed this universal principle beautifully. Everything is shown up by being exposed to the light, and whatever is exposed to the light itself becomes light. I want to give you a principle that's also reflective of that in Scripture. In the book of Revelation, John the Revelator talks about as when we see him, we'll be like him. And then goes on to say, as we cry out holy, we are becoming the kind of the thing that we're worshiping. And so the light becomes the light, the recognition of spirit becomes spirit, like attracts. That's kind of what we're talking about there. Just as you cannot fight the darkness, you cannot fight against the pain body. Listen to this is brilliant. Trying to do so would create inner conflict and thus further pain. Watching it is enough. Woo! Stay here. Watching it implies accepting it as part of what it is at that moment. I want to repeat that one more time. We're not to fight against the pain body. We are to watch it and be in observance of it. So, we say all the time, what we resist persists, what we fight, we ignite. So our job is not to fight it. Really, our job is to observe it and ask, without judgment, ask things like, why? Why is this here? What is the meaning of this? Not, it's good, it's bad, oh, I'm condemned in myself, or I'm justified in thinking this way. We're not to put judgment on it. Watch it, okay? Watching it is enough. Being aware of it is enough, okay? Don't fight against it. What we fight, we really just begin to ignite. Okay. The pain body consists of trapped life energy that is split off from your total energy field and has temporarily become autonomous through the unnatural process of mind identification. It is turned in on itself and become anti-life, like an animal trying to devour its own tail. Why do you think our civilization has become so life-destructive? But even the life-destructive forces are still life energy. So, let's stop here and talk about even something that's destructive still carries energy. What we know is that energy is neither created nor destroyed, it's just channeled. It can be channeled through a negative capacity, it can be channeled through a positive capacity. That's really how electricity happens, is the alternate current and the direct current, the AC and the DC, come together and create power. And so, wow, what a teaching on the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. It takes the alternate and the direct current to create power. If you look at any, most technological devices in your home, whether it's an electric shaver or whether it is your remote control that operates your TV, your DVD player, whatever, open up and look at those batteries. Each battery has a positive charge and a negative charge. Okay? What happens is those working cohesively is what creates the power. And so Tolle here is trying to say, don't try to identify it as something that's positive, something that's negative. All forces have life. Okay? Even things that we would say are destructive, it still has an energy to it. It's not to be fought against, it's to be observed and understood. Okay. When you start to disidentify and become the watcher, so I'm not the thing that's happening, I'm the watcher of the thing that's happening, the pain body will continue to operate for a while and will try to trick you into identifying with it again. So the lure is, once I'm able to detach from this thing happening and watch it, the deception is to pull you back into, this is the thing that's happening to you. No. It's not me. I'm not judging it. I'm watching the thing that's happening. And so be aware, be cautious of that. Although you are no longer Energizing it through your identification, it still has a certain momentum, just like a spinning wheel that will keep turning for a while, even when it is no longer propelled. At this stage, it may also create physical aches and pains in different parts of your body, but they won't last. And so, I've used the example many times. I'm going to try to use a tablecloth tonight. Okay, that if your consciousness is kind of like a tube, PVC pipe, a channel, a conduit. Okay, let's say that inside this tablecloth is your mind, is your thoughts, is your consciousness, is your, as Jesus said, what will you give in exchange for your mind, your suke, the psyche. Okay, if you've been putting into this conduit for years, okay, if you've been putting negativity, the remembrance of pain, you are the thing that happened to you, I'm not worthy, born in sin, shaped in iniquity, my parents didn't love me, my coaches told me I wasn't good enough, my teachers told me I would never amount to anything. If you continue to rehearse that and continue to put all that in there, okay, your entire consciousness is going to be full of what Tolle describes as life-destructive energies. Okay, so it's going to persist for a while. Okay, it's going to keep going for quite a while. But what will happen is as you start to put good and higher vibrations into it, and immediately the good is not going to come out. Okay, so it's going to take a minute for that good, watch this, to fill up your entire consciousness so that eventually the thing that's coming out the other side is positivity.
Yes.
Don't get frustrated in the first part of it, especially if, watch this, if you've entertained pain your whole life, if something happened to you in your childhood, adolescent years, that has now become your story, and it's been your story for 35, 40, 50 years, you are not in one session going to push all that pain body out of yourself. It's going to take a series of feeding good things into it that eventually will hopefully fill your whole vessel. All right, let's keep coming. Although you are no longer energizing it through your identification, it has a certain momentum like a spinning wheel. Keep turning for a while, even when it is no longer being propelled. So it's saying it's going to last for a minute, okay? At this stage, it may also create physical, that means that thing you've been putting in there, you may start feeling aches, pains. At the cellular level, your emotions are feeding into your body. The same way that anxiety makes your heart race, that nervousness makes your stomach upset sometimes. Imagine a lifetime of entertaining a pain that becomes the pain body, how that begins to affect the rest of your body. I believe that's not spooky spiritual or mysticism. That's almost science right there. That's scientific right there. All right, keep coming. Stay present and stay conscious. Be the ever alert guardian of your inner space. You need to be present enough to be able to watch the pain body directly and feel its energy. It then cannot control your thinking. The moment your thinking is aligned with the energy field of the pain body, you are identified with it again and feeding it with your thoughts. So, in other words, once you become the watcher, don't get sucked back into the pain. You're not the pain, you're the watcher of the pain. So Jesus kind of said it this way, and this is a little bit of an interesting comparative idea right here. Jesus said once a demon leaves your body or leaves your mind, and we know that Tolle last week identified demon thinking or demons of the mind. When Jesus dealt with the demoniac at the tomb, what we know from deeper study is that demoniac was bipolar and schizophrenic, and so it wasn't a demon. It was a lack of understanding of the mind and being able to deal with mental challenges and incapacitation. So Jesus says once it leaves, once the negative thinking leaves your mind, it desires to come back. Jesus even said if you allow it to come back, it'll come back 7 times stronger than it was before. Well, that's tough to deal with that. But the same principle is that once you disidentify, I'm not the pain, I'm not the thing that happened to me, I'm not going to live in this pain body any longer, it's not gone forever. It lurks out there in suspicious ways, wanting to be identified with again. This is who you are, this is always going to be who you are. Be aware of it, don't allow it to come back. Okay. For example, if anger is the predominant energy, a vibration of the body, and you think angry thoughts, dwelling on what someone did to you, or what you are going to do to him or her, listen to this, then you have become unconscious and the pain body has become you. My God, anybody hear that? Okay. If you constantly dwell on getting back at the person who hurt you, okay, unconsciously you become the pain body. I've said it before I knew the term pain body. I used to say it this way even when I taught, when I was a youth pastor, 20-something years ago. I would teach our young people, don't become the thing that you hate. If you don't learn how to walk into forgiveness, whether it's your parents being divorced, whether it's something that happened to you through your parents, if it happened to you through a coach or a teacher or a family member or someone of another race, if you harbor that pain long enough, you will become the thing that you hate. You will become a hateful, angry, spiteful, evil-minded person. And so we have to be conscious that forgiveness is not just for the person that's done something. It really has nothing to do with that person. It has to do with us refusing to become the thing that we hate. You become the thing you hate, but watch this. I read a book 5 or 6 years ago, Dr. Michael Beckwith's Spiritual Liberation. I refer to it all the time. I could not put the book down. He talks about a lot of pain that we go through as a child. He talked about his own pains, his own difficulty in life and forgiving and even racist things, religious things. He was an atheist at one point and even had to allow, he didn't even call it God at first. He just called it love, joy, energy. Something filled my room and filled my heart. He didn't know to call it God or spirit. He had been an atheist his whole life. So his ideas of forgiveness came from a little different angle. So his idea in prayer and spiritual liberation is that we forgive those who hurt us, but we don't act like it's not there. And we're about to get into that in just a moment. Yes, it happened. I'm not denying that it happened. Watch this. I'm not even condoning that it should have happened. There's no way I'm saying that it's justified. I'm saying that I recognize it's there. I'm the watcher of it. I'm not the thing that happened to me. I'm not going to be sucked back into that pain body. And furthermore, I'm not going to become the thing that I hate by refusing forgiveness and becoming a hateful person myself. Okay. So, where there is anger, there is always pain underneath. So the anger is the symptom. The pain is what's beneath it. I'm angry on the surface, but there's something below that's acting out as anger. Or when a dark mood comes upon you and you start getting into a negative mind pattern and thinking how dreadful your life is, your thinking has become aligned with the pain body and you've become unconscious and vulnerable to the pain body's attack. Unconscious, the way I use the word here, means to be identified with some mental or emotional pattern, a repeating cycle. It implies complete absence of the watcher. Anybody feel that? So I've now become so unconscious in my pain that I am the pain. I'm not observing it. I'm not aware of it. The emotion has taken over my body. If you're a Star Wars fan, okay, there's a scene where the Emperor is trying to turn the young Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, and Anakin knows that he has to probably put an end to the Emperor and the evil, but the Emperor wants him to take on the evil, and he's saying things to Anakin like this: Anakin, become the pain, become anger, give into it, let all that happen. In other words, I want you to become the thing that you're hating. And so all that teaching, all that metaphysical teaching is in Star Wars, whether we realize it. So instead of being aware of your emotions, you have become the emotions. Watch this, and the learning is now over. There's no more learning. You have just become the emotion at this point. Okay, let's keep coming. Sustained conscious attention. I love this paragraph right here. Severs the link between the pain body and your thought processes and brings about the process of transmutation. What is transmutation? Something becoming something else. Anger being transmuted into forgiveness. Jealousy being transmuted into trust. Pain being transmuted into an awareness of life. So the transmutation here is attained through conscious attention or sustained conscious attention, that the link between the pain body and your thought processes are not all the same thing. Okay, keep coming. It is as if the pain becomes fuel for the flame of your consciousness. Wow. In other words, pain is the catalyst for waking up. I preached a sermon, I think in my late 20s, shaken but not stirred. And I talked about with every shaking, there is an awakening. And, at that point I was talking about getting shaken in life and then awakening your praise. And we were getting all crazy, shouting and running and speaking in and on tongues. But it is a similar concept that pain can become fuel for the awakening of your consciousness, which then burns more brightly as a result. This is the esoteric meaning of the ancient art of alchemy. And if some of you are voracious readers, you've probably read the book, The Alchemist. And obviously alchemy is dealing with metals and the formulation of transmuting one metal into another. But the beauty behind alchemy is the transmutation potential that all of us have to transmute something that's not precious into something that is precious. In other words, as a spiritual alchemist, I can transmute the pain that I have felt into greater awakenings. That's the beauty of the book, The Alchemist, and how we can all be spiritual alchemists. Sorry, keep coming. Where was I? The meaning of the ancient art of alchemy, the transmutation of base metal into gold, or, here it is on a spiritual level, of suffering into consciousness. Frederick Douglass said it this way: where there is no struggle, there is no progress. People say it at the gym: no pain, no gain. Suffering can be the flame that ignites consciousness. That's the way that I see it as the watcher, many times, of society. The suffering that racism has caused, the suffering that classism has caused, the suffering that gender inequality has caused, my goodness, the suffering that homophobia is now causing, the suffering of separation consciousness from humans, from God. All this suffering, I believe, can be transmuted into consciousness. That's why we say, when the pain of remaining the same becomes more powerful or more painful than the pain of change, then pain can be transmuted from suffering into conscious awareness and conscious awakenings. All right, the split within is healed, and you become whole again. Your responsibility then is not to create further pain. Somebody talk to me. So, if I don't want to pass the pain and pain bodies of former generations, of fathers, grandfathers, mothers, grandmothers, aunts, uncles, great uncles, if I don't want to continue to, watch this, I don't believe in generational curses. I believe in generational consciousness and generational choices, okay, that become cycles and generational cultures. I get all that. It is not a curse that's unavoidable, okay? These are choices, but when we're unaware of them, they act like a curse because they keep repeating. So, in this idea of waking up is this: I'm not the pain, I'm the watcher of the pain. The suffering has turned into greater awakening in consciousness. Now, not only am I not feeling the pain, I'm not creating pain for other people, and hopefully not for other generations. That is the power of waking up to conscious awareness. So this awareness, in essence, is the beginning of healing, and the healing is what empowers us to make sure this does not become or continue to be a repeating pattern. All right, let's keep going. Let me summarize the process. Focus. Now here's, and I'm going to break this down for you in just a minute, but stay with me. Focus attention on the feeling inside you. Know that it is the pain body. Accept that it's there. Don't think about it. Don't let the feeling turn into thinking. Don't judge or analyze. Don't make an identity for yourself out of it. Whew. Stay present and continue to be the observer of what is happening inside you. Become aware not only of the emotional pain, but also of the one who observes, the silent watcher. This is the power of the now, the power of your own conscious presence. Then see what happens. Okay, we have to stop here for a minute. I need to have a quick drink. I'm getting some dry mouthedness. All right, so I want to break this process down of becoming the conscious presence, or what Eckhart Tolle talks about. This is the power of the now. So, step one is to focus within. So, what is happening inside me right now? I took a class in college on pastoral counseling, and one of the books that we read was called Inside Out. And it was a process of learning I can't counsel others until I can be aware of what's happening inside of me. That's why sometimes the critics of Jesus would say, physician, heal thyself. How can you help me on my conscious awareness when you're not aware of what's happening inside of you? So, first of all, focus within, be aware of what's happening inside. Be aware that pain is present. There is pain here. I'm not in denial. I accept it. The presence of pain is here, okay? However, don't allow your feeling it and seeing it and accepting it to turn into judging it. It's here. The pain is here. I don't have a judgment of it. I'm not associating necessarily with it by judging it or identifying with it. It's here. I see it. I feel it. I accept it. Okay. However, further, then don't allow yourself to be the thing you're feeling. Don't become what happened to you. I say it this way because I refer to the story of the three Hebrew children who came out of this fiery furnace that were innocently thrown into it, but it says that there was no smell of smoke on them. So in other words, I was in a trial, I was in a temptation, I was in some torturous situation, maybe that wasn't even of my own making. But when I came out of it, I don't smell like it the rest of my life. Okay, so that's how we say, don't become the thing you're feeling, don't become the thing that happened to you, don't smell like it the rest of your life, okay? Continue to observe it, okay? Continue to be aware of it. I don't have to judge it. I don't even have to heal it right now. I just have to have conscious, present awareness of it. This is the now. This is your own conscious presence. Someone introduced me to the idea about 15 years ago, not just of IQ, or what we refer to as the intelligence quotient, but of EQ. And some of you may have heard of what is EQ. Intelligence is your ability to solve problems, math, financial problems, all these things, wonderful. But there's a different portion of your intelligence that is your emotional intelligence. Okay, I have I have all of this wisdom, I have all of this knowledge, but I'm not wise enough to know when to apply the knowledge or how to apply it. Okay, so I've got information, I've got degrees, I'm intellectual, I'm educated. Okay, I've even got an education from the streets. I've got some street smarts, but now I've got to learn how to use that information. Okay, so how do I use the information? That's not your IQ, that's your EQ. That's my emotional quotient or my emotional intelligence. What does that mean? I've got to be aware of what's happening inside of me. And so when do I say things? How do I say them? Why am I saying them? It's a constant process of taking a self-inventory. Am I speaking from prejudice? Am I speaking from cultural bias? Am I speaking from a man's perspective? Am I speaking from a white person's perspective? Am I speaking from pain? Am I speaking as a straight man to a gay person from a weird perspective that they don't understand? All that is not IQ, that is EQ. Being present with yourself, knowing what you're thinking, why you think the way you think. All right, let's keep going. The process that I have just described is profoundly powerful yet simple. It could be taught to a child, and hopefully one day it will be one of the first things that children learn in school. Once you have understood the basic principle of being present as the watcher of what happens inside you, and you understand it by experiencing it, you have at your disposal the most potent transformational tool. Very powerful. This is not to deny that you may encounter, watch this, intense inner resistance to disidentifying from your pain. That means you're going to counter some resistance because your pain has been with you so long, you don't know yourself without the pain. All right, keep coming. This will be the case particularly if you have lived closely identified with your emotional pain body for most of your life, and the whole or a large part of your sense of self is invested in it. Wow, I've been in this pain and entertained this pain so long that it is myself, myself is invested in it. I don't know who I am without it. The question came to me today, who am I without my pain? Let's address it corporately. Who are we without our pain? More specifically, what does that mean? Who am I without my story? All of us have a story. When I was this age, this happened. When I was this age, this thing happened. At this era of my life, I had to go through this. I had to navigate this. I had to walk through this pain. Okay. Yes, we all have some level of story, and probably we would get into an argument whose pain is the most. Okay. That's not the question tonight. The question is not what the story is. The question is, who are you without all that? Who are you without the pain? Who are you without the story that you've identified yourself with for so long? Watch this. Now there's a resistance to let the pain go. I don't want to let the pain go. I don't know who I am without this pain. Whew, take a big deep breath right there. That's resonating with somebody. I know it is. All right, let's keep going. What this means is that you have made an unhappy self out of your pain body and believe that this mind-made fiction is who you are. This is who I am now. I've been in this pain so long. This is who I am. What did the man at the pool of Bethesda say to Jesus? He had been lying there for 30 years. And every time the water was troubled or every time Spirit was there to bring healing to people, there was no one to put him in the water. And so he kept lying there, kept saying he was a victim. No one's going to help me. And Jesus said, how long will you lie here? Take up your bed and walk. But he, for 30 years, had convinced himself, this is who I am. I am the pain. I am the helplessness. I am the victim. Who am I without that story any longer? Okay, keep going. We say you are not the thing that happened to you. You are the observer of the thing that happened to you. Okay, in that case, unconscious fear of losing your identity will create strong resistance to any disidentification. Meaning, I've been identified, wow, man, I'm preaching to myself tonight. I've been identified with these things for so long. Who am I without these things? Who am I without these pains? I don't know what that person looks like. Okay, keep coming. In other words, you would rather be in pain, be the pain body, than take a leap into the unknown and risk losing the familiar, unhappy self.
Wow.
Get them hands up and tell them thank you. Preachers used to say it this way in church. They would come in and want to make a big splash at our church, and they would say, imagine yourself without any debt. Imagine yourself without any bills. And we would get all crazy and yay, I don't have any, there's no more bills in my life. However, there's a deeper side of that. Yes, beautiful. Imagine ourselves, all of us debt free, no more financial worries. However, but feel it this way. What if you are so attached to the pain that has happened to you, okay, that it's become you now, and because of that pain body, that's who you are and you become now, that you will never be out of debt because you can't open certain doors of favor and certain doors of opportunity because that attitude is so strong on you that the money is not coming to you today in Jesus' name. You can say it all you want. Money cometh to me today in Jesus' name. Great. But you're blocking that conduit of blessing coming to you because you're so associated with that pain body that the money can't come to you, the love can't come to you, the healing can't come because you're so identified with it. All right, keep coming. If this applies to you, observe the resistance within yourself. In other words, you don't have to be healed from the pain body right now. All we're asking, just be aware that resistance is there. I don't know who to be without it. Don't have to change it. Don't even have to get rid of the resistance right now. Just be aware that you are in resistance to it. I don't want to get healed. I was in a pastor's meeting one morning with my dad was present as well. And there was a pastor, a deliverance minister that was here, that was at our church. And he was going to take our church through deliverance. And I believe in that. I don't have any problem with that. And so he was talking about delivering people from their demons. And my dad all of a sudden spoke up in true Don Paulk character. And he said, you know what, Pastor? He said, I've grown very friendly with my demons. I don't think I want to let go of my demons. I've learned to like my demons. I want to be addicted to chocolate. I want to be addicted to... And we were busting out laughing. And even the minister who was there to do these deliverances was laughing as well. But there's some truth in that sometimes we become so accustomed to the things that create unhappiness, we don't know who we are without that unhappy self. All right. Be aware of the resistance. Observe the attachment to your pain. Be very alert. Observe the peculiar pleasure you derive from being unhappy. Wow. There's an old saying, if mama's not happy, nobody's happy. Okay, and I heard that growing up. My dad would do his best to keep mom happy. But the idea was sometimes when someone is miserable, they love that misery. They want somebody else to be miserable. Tolle said it this way: the peculiar pleasure you derive from being unhappy. why am I addicted to this unhappiness? Why can't I find joy and peace? And I don't want to be in this. I don't want to be unhappy, but somehow I like it at the same time. Observe the compulsion to talk or think about it. As you know, Mean Girls is one of my favorite movies. And the main character gets into this compulsion that she can't stop talking about this girl that she hates. And even her friends who at one time thought it was kind of funny to talk about this girl, now they're tired of it. I don't want to talk about Regina George anymore. Can we just take a night off of all this talking about these people that you hate? Whether you know it or not, sometimes we get so compulsive about it, we have to talk about it, we have to think about it, we have to keep rehearsing it. There's an old saying in the church circles that I grew up in, don't nurse it, don't curse it, don't rehearse it, and then God will reverse it. Okay, and so I know that's preacher talk. But what it's saying is, at some point you have to stop talking and thinking about it and allow yourself to be the observer of it, detach from it, disidentify with it. That's where the presence, the conscious presence come from. That's where the power of the now comes from. And ultimately, that's where the healing comes from. All right, the resistance will cease if you make it conscious. So he says, you don't have to get rid of the resistance right now. Just be conscious of it. You can then take your attention into the pain body, stay present as the witness, and so initiate the transmutation. I can initiate this pain into something beautiful. Come on, talk to me, Isaiah. God will give us beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for the garment of heaviness. Listen to that. That is transmutation. That's what Eckhart Tolle is talking about. God is able to transmute. The Spirit within us is able to transmute pain into joy, sorrow into dancing and laughing. But we have to be willing to be the watcher of the pain and be aware that we're resistant to letting go of that pain. Okay. That's a lot tonight. And to me, maybe one of the most powerful weeks, because it's a step in being aware of the process of transmutation, the process of healing. I don't know if we have any comments tonight. Yeah, Brandy's going, yeah, we have a lot.
Quite a few. Don't know where to start. I'll just start back at the top. Mary wrote in, I used to believe that when negative things happened in my life, I really like this, that when negative things happen in my life, that meant something good is coming. Now I realize I was creating that. And if I wanted change, I had to start thinking on good, positive thoughts. And now my outlook on life is so different. I don't ever want to go back to the way I used to think. Yeah. Dr. Rachel Banks is in there replying, amen to that, Mary. But I like that because we feel like we have to, we deserve the bad things in order to get the good things.
There you go. So Mary Hayes has been, she probably was in this way of thinking before I really dove into it. And so sometimes she's looked at me and says, welcome to the party. So what's the never, Mary? That is so powerful. Mary, you and others might connect to this. I was raised in a strong presence of the teaching of spiritual warfare. Okay? We are doing spiritual warfare with strongholds in high places. And so we convinced ourselves that the reason the devil was so busy is because we were so powerful that the devil didn't want us to be able to reach our full potential. And so when we made bad choices and they showed up as scandal or as issues or as whatever in our lives, it was always the devil. The devil was fighting our church. The devil was fighting our parishioners. The devil was fighting the ushers, the deacons. Everybody was always in a battle with the devil because we were so important to the kingdom of God that the devil just had to keep us encumbered in spiritual warfare. Now we wake up to our creative power that in the first chapter of Genesis we realize we are creative, and creating, just like the God that created us. And so when things happen in our lives, occasionally they are because we're connected to the collective consciousness. I get it. But for the most part, and if we're honest, for the most part, it is of our own doing. And so we don't have to get sad to be happy. We don't have to appreciate the pain to appreciate the joy. That is a bipolar, fractious and fractioned way of looking at the universe. I take it metaphorically this way. When John the Revelator says, the lion will lie down with the lamb, okay? Son of Man will morph into Son of God, that it doesn't take rain to recognize sunshine. It doesn't take pain to recognize joy. We live in this divided sense of a universe. Watch this. A double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. I don't have to have pain to appreciate joy. I don't have to go through bankruptcy to know how to learn how to manage my money. I don't have to estrange all my loved ones from me to realize now these lessons are always within us, and they don't have to come out of pain. And so I love that, Mary. We are all being delivered from spiritual warfare. You know, we used to pray to be delivered from the devil. We're praying to be delivered from spiritual warfare tonight. I don't have any spiritual warfare in my life. It's all of my own making. Very powerful.
So we have a lot of back and forths going, which is great because there's a lot of conversation happening.
What you mean? What you say?
So I'm going to kind of read a string of some replies. But Alita wrote in, I struggle with anger. The pain that I feel is totally exhausting. I am learning to release it when I feel that an offense has happened to me. So Roberta replied, yes, anger is exhausting. Under the present circumstances, I struggle with anger every day. Mm-hmm. Laverne wrote, I struggle with anxiety and it comes as pain in my body. I'm getting help how to deal with this and I'm working through it. And then Alita kind of rounded it out by saying, I'm starting to see the spirit of myself with the help of my spiritual community and therapy. Some days I feel challenged and I still do the work. I love it.
Wow. So think about what Alita just said, Roberta resonated with, I think Laverne talked about not anger but anxiety. What you just did. Okay, in that brief moment, you became the conscious, silent watcher. You may not stay there, but I feel anger. Okay, I feel anxiety. Okay, in that moment, you're the watcher. You're aware that it's there. You're not in denial that it's there, but now, disidentify with it. Don't judge it. Okay, but don't identify with it. It's not who I am. I feel the anger. I feel the anxiety, but that's not who I am. I am the observer, witnessing this thing happen. The more that we're able to step back from it, the more we disidentify with it, eventually the more you realize you don't need it. I don't need to be that thing. And so, kudos to you, Alita. You know, even pastors need counseling. Pastors need therapists. Do you know that even the Pope of the Vatican, of the Roman Catholic Church, who I happen to be madly in love with our present Pope. I would wash his feet and say, thank you for being so sane and rational. Even the highest, the Pope of the Pope of Catholicism has his own confessor. Okay, so sometimes people believe the Pope is infallible. That is not the belief. The Pope even has his own confessor where he goes and says, hey, I'm struggling with this idea. Hopefully the Pope is becoming self-aware that he is the watcher of his own emotions. Beautiful. All of us need that. All of us need a confessor. All of us need a counselor, therapist. That's kudos to you for being more aware of what you're thinking and how you're thinking.
Richard shared, taking away some people's pain body that they have held on for years can lead the lost of their self-identity. And I love that Callie replied in, permission to rewrite the story.
Yes. So, yes, Richard Kelly, I've been identified so long, I'm experiencing a loss of myself. We asked the question earlier, who am I without the pain? Or let's say it this way, who am I without the identification with the pain? Do I have a level of significance without the pain? Is my existence still important without all of that pain? I ask myself that question all the time. I've been through my own journey of pain in many different ways. But can I see myself without it? Can I see myself without identifying with it? As Callie said, do we have the courage to rewrite a new story without all of that pain? The problem is sometimes there are triggers, there are things that remind us of that pain, and over time, hopefully those things become less for all of us. But for a season, just like we use the example of that tube of consciousness, if the pain has been coming in for so long, it's going to take a little time to get rid of all that pain, and that's okay. It's a process. Just don't give up. Keep trying. Keep putting good things in. You may have some little hiccups here and there, but it's a process of healing. We are not healed all at one time. I preached a message a couple of years ago about the process of healing. Jesus said to a blind man, he put his hands on him, spoke healing over his eyes, And the blind man said, I can see. Jesus said, tell me what you see. He said, I see men like trees. In other words, he was saying, my vision is blurry, but I'm seeing more than I did see. Jesus did a second prayer. Think about that. Who we believe is the Son of God or God incarnate had spoke healing over somebody, but it didn't happen all the first time. In other words, there was a process. I've been in pain for so long, I'm seeing joy, but I'm seeing it as men like trees. I want to experience joy, but it's unfamiliar to me. I don't know how to laugh. I don't know how to be free of the pain. And so there's a second prayer. There's a process of healing. There's nothing wrong with that. I've been identified with it so long. Yes, I'm asking myself, who am I without the pain? But I'm courageous enough, Callie, to want to begin to rewrite the story. And in rewriting the story, there's going to be some remembrances. That's okay. It's a process of walking through this healing.
Jeannie Lovingood, who we were just talking about today.
Miss Jeannie.
We were just talking about you today, Miss Jeannie. This message brings me personally to a place of peace. You had me at, don't judge the situation, just observe the situation. Don't pass by the pain. I can ask the question, why? But I'm not sad, just aware.
Wow. I'm not the emotion any longer. I'm not being drawn into it. I'm just aware that it's there. I'm the watcher. And that's powerful. Jeannie, it's so funny. Brandy, Randy, and I were talking today about you and how much we love you and how much joy you give to us and your intelligence, your openness. And that's why you're able to see that you are the watcher. I am the watcher. I'm not the things that have happened to me. I'm aware that they're there. I'm not in denial. Now that's the tricky part, is acting like God is good all the time. Yes, God is good all the time, but shift happens. Pain happens to us, okay? The denial just pushes it down further, then it comes out in weird ways. You kind of suppress it. No, it did happen. You don't sweep it under the rug, you look at it. Think about this. When Jesus was in the wilderness, he was not in denial that he had to deal with pride. He had to deal with his culturalism. He had to deal with his tribalism. He had to deal with the way he felt about women or people from other nations or foreigners. Or I had to deal with, am I powerful? Am I hungry for power? I have to deal with my need for fame. Or that's why I'm in the wilderness, as the Aramaic says, with akucha, not the devil, but with uprightness. And uprightness said to me, whoo! My higher self said to me, will you be drawn into fame? Will you be drawn into pride and wealth and all these things? Jesus did not deny that he was the Son of Man. Even said, admittedly, why do you call me good? No one is good but God. Why would you even call me good? I'm admitting that I'm seeing it. I have a lower self-image. Eventually, he stopped judging it, and then is transmuted into saying, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. If you don't praise me, the rocks will cry out. Not only that, not only am I God, John chapter 10, you are all gods as well. You're all children of the Most High God. And so we see that transmutation happening in Jesus' process, but not because he denied it was there. I was angry. He picked up a whip. He cleared out the temple. He got angry many times. He called the Pharisees sons of the devil, brood of vipers, whitewashed sepulchres, empty, stinky tombs. Is what he was calling them death. And so, how do we follow the pattern of our master teacher? By not denying that it's there. Yes, I feel it, but it's not who I am. And I know that the Spirit in me can be transmuted and take this suffering into a higher sense of consciousness.
Yes, actually, Rev, our good buddy Nicholas O'Rourke chimed in.
What up, Rev?
Just not sad, just aware, and just kind of reiterating that comment. Very good. So I like this. Gloria shared, we create pain by worrying about something that has not even yet happened, bringing that pain to our future.
So I have a friend who Brandy and I have kind of adopted him as our son. He was born in Russia, into an orphanage, then adopted by American parents, and then he became our son's basketball coach. And we found a place in his life, kind of as adopted parents, to bring affirmation to him and speak into his life. And then he speaks into ours. It's just a beautiful thing of us speaking in his life. He speaks into our children's lives. And now he's a father himself. He's a beautiful wife and him have their first child. But one thing that we have been aware of, Gloria, is that he has this kind of painful past of being raised in an orphanage, but also this incredible, overwhelming gratitude. Look at what happened in my life. I was adopted by loving parents, brought to a wonderful, to get an education. Now I have a family of my own. So guess what he's doing now? He has his own child, but they are now in the process of adopting another child because he wants to give back to the thing that was given to him. What a powerful sense of joy. He is not the sadness. There it is. I'm not the sadness. I'm aware of the sadness. I'm not the sad child that was in that orphanage one day. I'm the child who was able to walk into a new life. And so now I'm able to give that joy out to someone else. I love that Reverend O'Rourke said that. Gloria, that was beautiful.
So Jen Pickett wrote in, I feel personally attacked. That I like my demons quote is real.
How dare you try to take my demons away from me? I can't tell you the sense of joy, Jen, in that room that day when my dad said, I don't want to be delivered. I like my demons. Yeah, all of us get that because, now, jokingly we might call it chocolate or sugar or fried food or whatever our demon is. And that's okay, but the demons that are causing pain in our bodies, those lower emotions, we do like them. And we have to admit that we do. We like that feeling of that the world is against me sometimes. We like that feeling of nobody understands my pain. We like that. Watch this, we like that martyrdom. We like to carry that cross sometimes. We like to feel like the whole world is against us. Don't judge it, just admit it. Watch it, see it, and then the more that you're aware of it, the more that demon will start to leave your life. But I get it, Jen, and I'm sorry I tried to take your demons, and don't be trying to take mine either.
So Miss Bobby, who you always talk about, is so positive and wrote, stay focused and always channel the positive vibrations and push back the pain. Think on the good things, not the fight. Be the observer or the watcher of your consciousness. Let the pain go. And Dr. Sharunda wrote, and this is profound. Yes, Bobby.
Let me interrupt you real quick. I want to respond real quick because I'll lose that thought, and then I want to hear from Dr. Sharunda. But when Bobby said that, it reminded me, think about this, Bobby, of the verse that says, if there be anything good. Then there's a moment of desperation from Paul, the author Paul. He says, if there's anything good, if there's anything noteworthy, anything at all that's praiseworthy, what Paul is saying to us is there's going to be a lot of stuff that's not. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's not good, that's not praiseworthy, not noteworthy. Try not to focus on that. But he's also admitting it's here. These other things are here. I'm in the awareness of it. I'm not denying it's here. I'm just choosing not to embody that right now. I love that, Bobby. That's who you are. All right, Dr.
Yeah, well, she wrote back in, yes, Bobby, and I like this, watch the pain go by, because we have the power to watch it go by.
Right. And
she responded, yes, we'll be the watcher.
Wow.
Love it.
I was in a relationship with kind of a father-son mentoring relationship with a minister years ago who actually spoke some very powerful things into my life. He taught me the power of character, of honesty, of not denying things, not hiding things. It really, learning that from him was what helped me to navigate the most difficult years of our church existence together. And really kind of what made me, everybody said, Pastor, that's when you became my pastor. When we weren't running from it, we were able to turn around and face it. That's when I began to love you and trust you. That was it for me. So many people have said that to me, but that wasn't something I knew. I had to learn that. I had to be discipled into being translucent and open and honest and okay. We don't have to talk about the gory details, but this did happen. How do we move on from here? Okay. But I love that Dr. Sharunda said, don't hide it. Don't act like it's not there. Be willing to admit this is what it is. Okay. And in my process of that, I found great joy. I was able to admit that the thing was here, the pain is here. Then I was able to separate myself from it, put that thing on the shelf, and still enjoy my family, my kids, laugh, have some sense of joy in my life, even in the midst of some difficult moments. And so the gentleman, the man that was kind of a mentor in my life at that stage, called me and said, I'm coming down there. You're in denial. You shouldn't be. You're laughing and acting like I'm taking you to counseling. And I said, I promise you I'm not in denial. I'm just able to, I didn't know the term, I'm able to be the watcher of it. This is not personal. It's something I'm having to navigate, but it's not about me. And that's okay. It's okay if you think I'm in denial. I know I'm not in denial. I admit the thing is here, as Dr. Sharona said, but I'm watching it pass by. I'm in the storm, but the storm is not in me. Okay, I've heard people say that my whole life. A ship can navigate any storm as long as the storm doesn't get inside the ship.
So Alma wrote, okay, now you are taking away my pain, and now I am without an excuse. That's a grown-up word for grown-up folks. I got it. Yeah.
Miss Reverend Prophetess Alma Horace, what you doing there?
It's Alma McIntosh.
Oh, Alma McIntosh, sorry. I love that. I love that revelation that what is my excuse now? What am I without the pain? What am I without the identification with the pain? I saw, I'll tell you this, Alma, I saw a funny movie years ago. It's very dry. I believe it's a Monty Python movie. I believe it's called The Life of Brian. It could be the Holy Grail. If I get the wrong one, please forgive me, okay? But Jesus was being depicted in this comedy, and Jesus walks by this man who's been blind his whole life. And he goes by, he puts his hand on the blind man, and the blind man gets his sight. And all of a sudden, the blind man realizes, I'm not blind anymore. Then it dawns on him, I've been living on the donations of compassionate people who've been putting coins in my little cup, blind man cup, for 30 years. I've got to go find a way to support myself now. I don't know what to do. Who am I without being a blind man? And then he goes back to Jesus and says, how dare you heal me? I can't make any money anymore. And so it's this whole comedy on Jesus going, I thought I was doing something good for you. Why are you getting on me? The blind man said, well, you think you did something good, but now I can't make any money because I have my sight. Think about the pain of that. Think about the shift of writing a new story, as someone said earlier. What are we as we write this new story? Maybe there's some pain of change, but I believe that higher vibration is worth whatever shift happens.
So I think to end the evening, James Card wrote, awesome, all things are truly working for the good. Accepting that, it's wonderful.
Beautiful, thank you, James. Yeah, it's hard to say it when you're in the midst of the shift, but they are working out for your highest and best good. We say it all the time at Spirit and Truth. The universe will send to us whatever is necessary for the evolution of our consciousness. And so, whether that's being the watcher, whether that's having to look at the pain, whether that's having to painfully come out of denial, or painfully rewrite a new story that you're not the pain that you used to be, all of that, as James said, is still happening together for our good. It's our highest and greatest good coming out of us. In Christianity, we would say it all is working together for our good. In Buddhism, or the Dharma wheel, it would be the end of suffering or the identification with pain through reincarnation, of learning lessons and continuing to evolve in consciousness. In Hinduism, they would call it a place of nirvana, when we are finally fully awakened. It's called many things in different places, but it is good to say our highest and greatest good is what's happening to us and through us and for us all the time. And so we give thanks for that tonight. I did want to read a closing affirmation, but before we do that, I want to say one more time, give you the announcement that Bishop Carlton Pearson will be with us both this Sunday and also next Wednesday night. And so tell your friends, tell everybody. It's going to be very, very, very powerful. It's a season when a lot of things are shifting, and it's also a season where our minds are open to a clear word. Bishop Pearson always brings that to us. And so be with us Sunday, and then next Wednesday we'll also have some comments after the teaching with Bishop Pearson. I'm very, very excited about it. I did want to give some quick shouts out, and then we're going to close tonight with our affirmation together. Fred and Mary, Emma, Ivy and Margie, Callie, Rosaline, Roberta, Myrna, Terry, Alita, Elaine, Randy, Doreen, Sheila, Virgie, Taria, Pastor Cassius, Caroline, Tamara, Miss Bobby, Pastor Helen, Terry, Penny, Pastor Gloria, Sherby, Dr. Sharonda, Susan, Jeannie, and Warren, all the loving goods. Justina Pauls, yay! Carol, Laverne, Dr. Rachel, Glenna, Dennis, Lenora, Alma, Donnie and Gina, Esther, Sheila, James, Irma, David, Norman, Jen, and then Regina Scott, who just had a birthday, yay, Regina. Reverend Nicholas O'Rourke and Kat Presco from the Ozarks. We got Philadelphia in the house and the Ozarks in the house, and I'm not sure where Jen Scott Pickett is from. Maybe Nashville or Eaton or wherever you, Jen. Love you too. We love it that you guys joined with us tonight. Thank you for entering into the conversation. It doesn't have to all get solved at one point. It's just being aware of it. Be aware of it. And so I love that teaching. That's doable for me. I don't know about you. When I would go to conferences or hear preachers talk, I felt like I had to get it all done in one night. Got to come get one prayer, one moment of deliverance, one breakthrough. Now it's all better. No. It didn't happen overnight. It's a process of being aware, disidentifying with it, then eventually realizing that's not who you are and healing it. And so in that thought, let's end tonight with our affirmation. Come on, let's read it out loud together. I am not my thoughts. I am not the thinker of my thoughts. I am the observer, witnessing the thinker, thinking the thoughts. Tonight, I am not the voice in my head or any limitation of an inherited collective cultural conditioning, religious indoctrination, or even my past experiences. This week, I will mind my mind, free my mind, be free of my mind, and surrender to practice no mind. That's a lot to say. We love you guys. Go in peace. We'll see you again on Sunday morning.